Hi guys, welcome back. Hope you're having a good day. Good day for me. Let's talk about an absolute classic I picked up the other day for $5 at the thrift store. Unopened. I mean the box is beat up, but unopened. Stetson Collector's Edition Cologne. Now, before I opened it, I checked because sometimes collector's editions can go for a lot of money. This isn't really one of them. There's one guy on eBay trying to sell it for like 200 some dollars. Ridiculous. Goes for $20 to $30 mostly. So it's opening time. Well, I opened it today. I wore it today because I picked this up yesterday. Did I say I picked it up yesterday? Anyway, I didn't pick it up yesterday, so I wore it today. And the darker one's the Cologne. It's called, what is it? This is the Aftershave, the lighter one. And yeah, it's just called Collector's Edition Cologne, Collector's Edition Aftershave. Cool bottles. It's got like a floral, kind of like a bandana paisley pattern on it. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it. You might be able to see it better in the dark one. With Stetson written across the top. I'll put them both up. I don't know which one you're going to be able to see it better if either of them. But either way, cool bottles. Cool bottles. Absolute classic. We'll get into the fragrance. Kind of try to do it quick and then talk about Stetson for a bit. 1981 Cypher fragrance, or however you say that. Some of the notes: lavender, honey, carnation, musk, iris, vanilla, woods, vetiver. There's more florals, some more spices, some just a bunch of shit in here. Of course, it's old school, right? Like 9,452 notes. From the get-go, man, it's a powdery, clean floral combo of iris and lavender with a slight earthy, sweet honey undertone. Some spice comes up in the mids, some kind of like nutmeg, clove, pepper. I think that's mostly coming from the carnation in this. What the carnation does kind of gives it that kind of spicy floral vibe. But always soft. The spice is always soft. It's never an uber spicy fragrance. It's noticeable. It's there, but it's not. Everything's mixed just right with this fragrance. So it's like never overwhelming or anything like that with spice. The whole time it keeps that, like I said, that slight, well, very powdery floral, kind of slightly sweet, earthy, floral honey kind of vibe it's got going on. Even into the fire dry down, where some again a slightly powdery, dry kind of hint of sweetness, vanilla comes out. Woods and musk, and that's kind of the fragrance, really. That's it. It's not an overly complicated fragrance. There's a lot of notes, but you're basically, like I said, you're picking up on a couple of florals mostly, some honey, some musk, and some woods. That's pretty much the whole fragrance, honestly. So at the end of the day, it's a very nice, powdery, clean, sweet, spicy. Again, not your modern sweet or your modern spicy type fragrances. It's an accompanying note, accompanying a chord to it. It's not the main player, right? Woody, musky fragrance. It's kind of what it is. Some say unisex. Yeah, but definitely leaning into the masculine. A woman could probably pull it off. I heard somebody say it reminds me of a male version of Chanel, but yeah, you could, but it definitely leans more masculine by quite a bit for me. Although I would say a woman could wear it. A woman could wear it, but it's probably not a woman's first pick. Probably shouldn't be a woman's first pick. I can't give you sprays and stuff. It's a splash. So I put some of the aftershave on, put some moisturizer in, put a good bit of fragrance in, and then put it on the moisturizer and stuff. So kind of a double layered. And it was okay, for what it is, it's okay. I didn't expect to get the performance I did from it. Again, the performance was never great, you know, average at best, but I was expecting with it being as old as it is, and of course reformulation, that it wasn't. But you know, I got 5.5, 6 hours out of it, which isn't bad. You got about an hour and a half, a solid projection, an arm's length out there, believe it or not, maybe a little more for the first 20 minutes or so. Then it comes in, gives you a nice bubble for about 3 hours. You're leaving a trail. You're going to pick up whiffs and wafts, and for about an hour, hour and a half, it's kind of a skin scent. Time to reapply. Um, so yeah, not bad for what it is. Uh, um, Compliments. The coffee girl. I'm gonna give you a quote verbatim that I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget it. Where did I write? Here it is. Coffee girl said she liked it. Reminded her of a cozy hug from a handsome older man. Her words, not mine. So it's got some of that to it, right? That kind of. It's got. Whereas it's a drugstore scent, and back in the day it was kind of like that, but nowadays with everything being so different, this is going to give off that, like she said, classy, attractive, maybe even a little money. You know, not a rich man, but you know, somebody's got a little change in their pocket. Kind of older man vibe, which I am to them, I guess. I mean, I don't know, handsome, older, but I'm definitely a little older than them by about 20 years. So they're all like 20 years old. So yeah, it's not bad at all, guys. It's compliment getting, but not in the way you think you're going to get. It's not going to be something people are going to can't see, especially a lot of younger people be like, oh, that's gorgeous, but they're going to smell and be like, they're going to be drawn in because it's cozy, as she said, handsome gentleman, older man. So you know, it's got that going for it. It gets compared a lot to like Royal Copenhagen, Avon Black Suede, blah blah. But so you definitely nice old school gentlemanly kind of fragrance. You know, it is what it is. It's great. I enjoy it. I enjoy it a lot, but a lot of that's nostalgia too. But it is my kind of fragrance, especially nowadays. I like smelling a little different, and this will definitely let me smell a little different. Um, So that's the review, guys. You can turn it off now if you're done with the review. Geez, only took me 7 minutes for that. And I ramble. Now we're going to talk about Stetson. If you don't want to stick around, I don't know how long it's going to last. This could be 2 minutes. This could be 20 minutes. I don't know. But we're going to talk about Stetson. It's been a solid 25, 30 years since I've had a bottle of Stetson, believe it or not. Not because it's expensive, not because it wasn't available. Because for the longest time, you know, when you hit 13, 14, 15 years old, my dad wore this. My dad had a bottle of this, a couple bottles of this. I wore it, you know, up until I was, you know, around that age. And then you start wanting your own stuff, right? Your own fragrances. And that stuff started smelling old manish to me, you know. It's what I first wore was, you know, Old Spice, Stetson, English Leather. The list goes on, right? And this was my dad's scent, old man scent, right? Just old men wear this stuff. I wanted the preferred. I wanted the really good stuff, but I couldn't afford really good stuff. You know, I wanted the Fahrenheits and stuff. I got it, you know, but you got it for Christmas type deal. So I would get a bottle of like preferred stock, raw vanilla, Universal by Cody, things like that. You know, stuff that were still, you know, drugstore type scents, relatively cheap, you know, 15, 20 bucks at the time. But were my own, my generations, you know, they weren't our father's fragrance. And then as you get a little older, you know, 15, 20 years pass, you start realizing, you know what, that actually wasn't a bad fragrance. Happens all the time with fragrances with men. I don't know, I'm not sure about women, but with men, all the time, all the time. How many times have you, if you're in your 30s, 40s, 50s, you know, thought about a fragrance that your dad wore, that you wore when you were younger, and you're like, and you hit, like I said, that magic number between 13 and 15. Like, I want something of my own, I want to smell like an old man. So you get your own thing. And then, like I said, 20 years later, you're like, yeah, that wasn't too bad. You know, I kind of like, you know, and you get a bottle of it. Some of it's nostalgia, remembering your old man, your youth, but you realize that actually they're not bad fragrances, and that's where this falls in for me. Was that type of scent. Um, so the nostalgia is there. I 100% agree. So it might be getting a couple higher marks because of the nostalgia, but I still like the style of fragrance, the powdery, clean, slightly sweet, musky. I expected leather to be in this. There's no leather. Uh, But it is what it is, just because it's Stetson cowboy. That's what I get from it. I thought it'd be like rawhide leather, but you know, uh, there isn't. It does smell like I remember though. Now I know every time you talk about something, especially this classic, who's been around this long, there's always somebody. Reformulation. It was way better back in the day. Well, you know what? This is what you can get now. This is it. Do I remember smelling better? No, but again, my memory's 25, 30 years old now. I couldn't tell you 100%. But when immediately you put this on, I was taken back to when I was, 12, 13 years old, stealing splashes and sprays from the old man. So it obviously it's triggered some kind of olfactory memory in me. So it obviously smells pretty damn close to the original. Uh, Performance, I do remember it being stronger. Not gonna lie about that. Absolutely, I remember the old man putting on just the aftershave, and again filling up the house with the aftershave for hours. She'd walk into the bathroom, and it would smell of well, with Old Spice too, more Old Spice, but it would smell of Stetson. So it definitely was stronger. Absolutely, I'm not gonna deny that, but you know, quit banging on reformulation. I've had fragrances I've had for like 3 months, and I do a video on something. Oh, the original was way better. Reformulation. It's been on 3 months, 4 months, guys. It ain't been reformulated. Christ, stop with the reformulation. That bugs me. We know it was better back in the day. We know, we get it. Everything was better back in the day. But this is what we can get right now. This is a damn good interpretation of the original, from what I remember. So, yeah, just get this. Speaking of that, should you get it today? Should you buy it? Yes, but with the caveat, know what you're getting with it. Don't have your expectations too high. Um, if you're only used to modern fragrances, this may not be something you would wear. I'm not even going to wear it a lot, even though I love it. It's not that I can't. It's just, I've got to be in a mood for it. Like a lot of old school fragrances, I got to be in a mood for them, which happens a lot with me anyway because I'm getting older. But yeah, I mean, if you want to experiment, you're doing some experimenting with old fragrances. You're sick of the Aqua de Gios and the Paco Rabannes, this and that, and this and that, and the Stronger with Yous and the Sweet Gourmand Camera, Angel Share, and all their type fragrances. And if you're getting sick of that and you want to try something new, this is a good place to start, really. Drakkar, Cool Water, Stetson, those type of fragrances. Maybe I'll do a starter fragrance video for people who want to start experimenting with old fragrances. I'm gonna write that down. Hold on a second. Starter, big, experiment, old frags. Okay, I'm back. Yeah, so maybe you want to just try. Like I said, this is one of the good ones to start with. It's not overpowering. It's not too offensive. It's not super leathery, piney, polo green or animalic in your face castoreum, Kuros or Antaeus and things like that. It's a nice, fresh, clean, powdery, floral, slightly spicy fragrance. It's a nice place to start. It'll give you a taste of what the old school is like, and then you can go on from there. So if you just want to experiment with it, it's like I said, it's not cheap. You can get it for like $10, so it's not like it's super expensive. But just know what to expect. You're not getting anything modern by any stretch of the words. I still say wearable, but not modern. Or if it's just a nostalgia thing, 100%, guys. If you've got a, you like me for whatever reason, you never haven't bought a bottle in years, you got memories of it, go spend the $10 or $15. It's worth the memory when you put it on. And I would get a splash if you can, just because that's the way I first experienced it. Like Old Spice, like English Leather. I love the splashes in these old colognes. Uh, if you can get a splash, get a splash. If not, it's just no big deal, right? It's part of the whole experience for me. And, it reminds me of my father, my grandfather even. He wore it. Uh, although it was kind of new for my grandfather when it came out, uh, but it was still a fragrance, and it was easily worn by men of any age back then. So fragrances didn't seem to get aged back then. But anyway, we'll talk about that when I do the other video. Um, yeah, it was a nostalgia bomb for me. It was a great day. I'm glad I got a compliment from it. A pretty descriptive compliment, and it was just fun. And sometimes, guys, that's all there is to it. You just want to have fun. You want your fragrance, you want to wear it, you want to have a good time wearing it. Just want to have fun. And this was fun for me. The same way somebody who's 20 or 25 might say the same thing about, I don't know, 1 million. Aqua di Gio especially. Your dad's scent would have been Aqua di Gio if they're only in their 20s. And, maybe you're going to go back and experience that. Do it. Do it. Have fun with it. That's the thing, guys. Have fun. All right, guys. That's it. I hope you have a great day. Wear something nostalgic for a change, guys, and change it up. Just wear for you. All right, guys. Peace, love, be good to each other, and be good to yourselves.